Alola Pokemon trainers, this is GatorEX, and with the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon last week being packed with content, it looks like we're gonna be in the Alola region for Thanksgiving. With that in mind, let's talk food. While there's the occasional lemonade or lava cookie in Pokemon, we're going to need some real food. So today, we'll be going over 5 Pokemon that you can eat in the Alola region. While you can hypothetically eat any organic Pokemon, I'll mainly be focusing on Pokemon that have entries in the Pokedex or other lore that mentions something about being eaten. Also, I'll only be covering Pokemon that appear in the Alola Pokedex, since the fairy won't be leaving until after Thanksgiving. So the first Pokemon on the menu is Wishy Washy. Now Wishy Washy are based off of sardines, and sardines are a commonly eaten fish. On top of that, Wishy Washy's Pokedex entry reads, "It's awfully weak and notably tasty, so everyone is always out to get it." If the Pokedex is going to tell you that it's tasty, then how are we expected to not pack these guys into a can? This entry does make for an interesting story though, since they're tasty and sought out, they're given a reason to call for help from the rest of the school. But they've already been called tasty, so it looks like Wishy Washy is a potential meal. The next Pokemon on the menu is Bounsweet. Bounsweet is based off of a mangosteen, which is a type of fruit. Other Pokemon have been based off of fruits and vegetables, but there's never been an actual mention of them being eaten. That is, until Bounsweet came around. Its Pokedex entry reads, "Although it's too sugary for human consumption, Bounsweet's sweat can be watered down into a juice with just the right amount of sweetness." So it's too sweet to actually eat, but don't worry, we can harvest them for their sweat. I bet it'd make a nice substitute for cranberry sauce. Oh, but Bounsweet's not off the hook just yet. Even though we humans can't eat them, your Pokemon won't have any problem. On the Pokemon website, it states, "It's sometimes swallowed whole by Pokemon drawn in by its aroma." So, you get to enjoy a delicious Bounsweet sauce while your Pokemon can just eat Bounsweet by the bucket. We have had Pokedex entries stating that Pokemon hunt prey or that they are prey, but actually reading the fact that Bounsweet are swallowed whole just for smelling really good, well, it makes you realize that the Pokemon world really is a jungle. How about we start getting into something that can serve as a main course? Brawler is a crab, and people like to eat crab. While we've had crustacean Pokemon in the past that I'm sure would taste a whole lot better, there's just something about Brawler that makes mouths water. Ever catch a Krabby and wish its arms could just fall off its body so that you could eat them? Well, find an NPC and trade your Krabby for a Brawler, because according to the Pokedex, "It punches so much, its pincers will often come off from overuse, but they grow back quickly. What little meat they contain is rich and delicious." What a Pokemon. Not only can it battle for you, but if it gets hurt in battle, you can eat whatever falls off. And no need to feel guilty, because they'll just grow right back. It's like an all-you-can-eat crab sale for $9.99 at Red Kingler. It does say that Brawler's arms don't contain a lot of meat, but if it's delicious and grows back, I bet people will be hunting down this Pokemon Castaway style. Before we get to the last Pokemon, I just want to acknowledge that Miltank appears in the Alola region. We've known that people drink Moo Moo milk since Generation 2, but the cafe in the Pokemon centers makes it a little weird, so I figured I'd just bring it up. At least we can use that Moo Moo milk to make some whipped cream for dessert. And now for the main course on today's Pokemon meal. Slowpoke Tail. This is not new information. We've known about Slowpoke Tail being eaten in the past, starting in Generation 2, when Team Rocket was cutting off Slowpoke Tails in order to sell them for, oh shoot, that's a lot of money. Well, despite Team Rocket trying to rip you off, Slowpoke Tail has actually been a delicacy for years. In X and Y, you can even eat Slowpoke Tail at a fancy restaurant. Now, in Sun and Moon, we're treated to some more detail as far as how they prepare it. Alolan home cooking involves drying Slowpoke Tails and then simmering them into a salty stew. A salty stew. The people of Alola really know how to make a unique dish out of a Johto classic. Mwah. And no need to feel guilty about this Pokemon either. Its other Pokedex entry states, "Its long tail often breaks off. It doesn't feel any pain though, and the tail grows back, so Slowpoke isn't particularly bothered." It's got all the pros of Brawler, except that Slowpoke Tail contains even more meat. I mean, have you seen how fat Slowpoke are? I mean, they're not big when it comes to potentially feeding a whole family, but at least 4 of those tails would be about the same size as a nice, fat, holiday ham. Honestly, I prefer ham over turkey anyway, so I'm glad Slowpoke are abundant in Alola. Anyway, that's been it for the 4 Pokemon in Alola that you can eat right now. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Did I miss any Pokemon in the Alola region that have been eaten in the past in other Pokemon lore? And out of these 4 Pokemon, which would you be most excited to eat? Anyway, also remember to leave a like to show your support and subscribe if you'd like to stick around. Also, while you're there, for new and old subscribers, just go ahead and hit that notifications button. It's a little bell icon, because I have been hit by the YouTube being broken phenomenon that's been going on. So if you'd just like to make sure you see each new video as it's posted, enabling notifications would be a great way to do that. Anyway, I've got to go help Malo in the kitchen with that Slowpoke tail. I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been GatorEX. Have a nice day.